Hey there, English expanders. It's Saturday again, and here I am, Agnes, from Hungary, exactly from Budapest. And today we are going to talk about you, all about your successes. And we're going to find out together whether you are a successful language learner or not. And what you need to do to become a more successful language learner. I'm going to give you 5 tips today. Not 2, not 3, but 5. Welcome to the Expand Your English live Facebook show. This is episode 6, and it's a Facebook live show, which means that you can comment, you can write your questions, and I can answer them either in the live show, hi Hoini, nice to see you, or after the live show. I always answer every question you have. The only thing is that you need to comment in English. It's good practice for you, and I like to see your development in the comments. Right, so today we're going to talk about if you're a successful language learner or not. Why am I supposed to talk about this? Who am I to decide if you are a successful language learner or not? I've been teaching English for 15 years now. Yes, you're right, I'm old. My birthday was last week or 2 weeks ago. You can guess my age in the comments if you feel like it. I'm going to answer yes or no for that, for sure. So, do you consider yourself a successful language learner? Why? Write them down in the comments below. In my opinion, I know that all of you have met geniuses who learn a language in no time. There are polyglots who learn 6 or 7 languages in their lives. That's incredible achievement. And on the other hand, there are people who are not as talented in languages, or they consider themselves not as talented as other people. And in my opinion, this is not true. I guess they only have difficulty in using the language, or they don't know how to practice a language or English in a professional way. They don't know how to do exercises. They don't know how to use the language. What about you? Are you a successful language learner? I hope you consider yourselves a successful language learner. Now, I'm going to give you 5 types or 5 tips or 5 characteristics of a successful language learner. And if you realize or notice that this topic is about you, leave a comment, please. Now, the first type is a person who studies not single words, but complete expressions or even whole sentences. I've mentioned it a lot of times, but this is the first secret of language learning. Don't study single words, but if you want to get successful in learning English or speaking English fluently, you should study longer expressions or even complete sentences. And you hear me say that please never ever study from a vocabulary book. What does that mean? That we shouldn't study from a vocabulary book, but at school all the teachers wanted us to study from a vocabulary book. Here you wrote the English word, and on the other side the Hungarian meaning. And did you learn each and every word right? I'm not sure. What I want you to think about is how you study expressions and sentences the easiest, right? That's the most important thing for you to think about. For example, I will tell you an example. A successful language learner wouldn't write, for example, semi-detached house. and the Hungarian or other language meanings in the other side of the page. But a successful language learner studies the expressions in such a way that they can remember them well. For example, they write a sentence with this semi-detached house in such a way that it represents their lives, or that they can remember this expression much better. For example, my friend János or my friend Andy lives in a semi-detached house in Oxford, okay? In such a way, you can remember the words much better. Do you use this method? Comment yes or no below, because I'm really interested. Now, let's take a look at all of you who are here. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to see you here. I can see Hajnalka is here. I can see Esther is here. And Ildi was here too. Hi. Now, I want to find the comments again. You know that I have always some difficulty with that. But I will manage them. And I want to see your comments, right? Okay, in just no time I will find them. Oh, Heini's here, hello. I'm so glad to see you again here. She says that she can learn new words and sentences easily, but she can't use them creatively. Now, this is what you need to work on. And if you want to use them creatively, you should learn at least 2 or 3 modal sentences with that expression, and it will help, I'm sure. Right, let's look at the second tip until you notice yourself if you are a successful language learner or not. A successful language learner has a favorite English-speaking series, film, or even lyrics, you know, song, text of the songs. They are called lyrics. And a successful language learner can't wait to see his or her favorite series week by week. And you know, a successful language learner knows the lyrics of their favorite band or singer by heart. But if you know the lyrics or the song by heart, this means that you don't need a piece of paper or a cheat sheet to use to sing along with the song. And in such a way, if you pay attention to the lyrics, you can even realize that your favorite star pronounces some letters differently. For example, when I was young, I was a huge fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I'm going to tell this story right away, but I'm waiting for your comments about the series you are watching, or your favorite films that you watch in English, or which bands or singers are you fond of. And you know, I'm interested, which lyrics do you know by heart? You can write them down in the comments. I'm really interested in that. When I was young, I was a huge fan of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I knew, yes, I could sing along the whole album of Blood Sugar, Sex Magic. I love that album. And while I was reading and listening to the lyrics, I realized that Anthony, the singer of the band, pronounced the L quite uniquely and in a different way than other people did. I could even see his tongue while singing, and it was really special for me in that situation to realize that he pronounced letters differently. Right, I can see the comments are pouring in. I'm going to talk about the comments later at the end of the show, and please tell us which series are you watching right now, or which is your favorite film which you always see in English. Mine is Star Wars and all the older series. And to tell you the truth, I haven't seen the new Star Wars film yet, so please don't spoil it for me. The third type of language learner, or the third tip to become a more successful language learner is that don't panic if you don't know a word from a reading or from a listening. A successful language learner always tries to find out the meaning from the context. It means that they read on, they don't stop and panic that they don't understand the whole sentence. They read on, or they go back to the previous sentence, and then if you don't know just one word, everything will come into place, I'm sure, if you think about the context. And for a successful language learner, reading is fun. I mean, they don't read newspaper articles or longer text that they are not interested in just because it's in English. But they try to read graded readers. Graded readers, you know, are English books which are easier to read. You can even read The Great Gatsby, not in real native language, but in a shorter and easier version. Graded readers come in different levels. You can choose between 5 or 6 levels, and even very, very beginners can start reading graded readers. Oxford University Press has them, Cambridge University Press, Macmillan, and you can even find them in Libri, in the Hungarian National Bookstore. And sometimes there are audiobooks with them, so an actor reads out the story. And it's the most fantastic thing to read and listen to the story in English at the same time. And of course, successful language learners have favorite English websites in which they can read the news in English if they are interested, or they can read about their favorite stars, or even women's magazines that they regularly read. In such a way, you can get used to the new vocabulary they use each and every time. For example, okay, I will tell my example later. Do you have a favorite graded reader or an English website that you visit regularly? I do. Maybe I'm a successful language learner. Okay, my favorite English websites, because I have two actually, are DJ Magazine and Mixmag. You haven't heard about them yet? That might be the case because they are magazines for subculture, for people who like going clubbing and people who like reading about DJs and underground house music and techno scene. And a lot of people know about this mania of mine, that I'm a huge fan of underground house music and techno music. So I regularly read articles about this topic in English, and nowadays I can use their terminology and the word as well. So, do you have favorite graded readers or English series? Hajnalka says she doesn't watch any series in English or in Hungarian, but she likes watching TED videos. Wow, that's great, that's fantastic. Documentaries and cooking shows. And I know, Hajnalka, that I was the first one to show you Jamie Oliver a short video from Jamie Oliver, and then you realize that, wow, I can understand Jamie Oliver, so why not cook with him, right? Am I right? I'm so proud of you again. Okay, Hajnalka also said that she reads the Oxford Bookworms books. I love them. My first ever graded reader was an Oxford Bookworm. I can even remember the title of it, The Monkey's Paw. It was on stage 2, so it was for absolute beginners. And I loved it. And then I fell in love with reading graded readers in English. Hajnalka says she likes criminal crime stories and sci-fi and horror stories. Wonderful. Keep on reading them and you will get better and better, even in speaking as well. And from the graded readers, you can find ways how you can use the vocabulary more creatively. Okay. Now let's move on to the fourth tip, which is, I keep saying this all the time, a successful successful language learner, especially when they are preparing for an exam, has a plan. They don't want to study everything in two ways for the exam. They have a plan for weeks, for example. A good plan is that today I'm going to study the present perfect, and I will study the rules and do 4 or 5 exercises for that. The next day I'm going to study present perfect continuous. I read the rules, study them, and then practice them with 4 or 5 exercises. How much time does it take? 20, 30 minutes? Not more. But every single day counts, because you know everything counts. All right, you should leave yourself some time to memorize the things and to get into your practical mind, and that takes 2, 3, even 7 days sometimes. Do you have a plan for studying English, for preparing for your exam? Share it with us. Okay, and my last tip for today is that a successful language learner knows a lot of free English websites where they can practice grammar, vocabulary, whatever. Right, where can you find such websites? Now I will tell you some, and if you don't understand these websites or don't understand the links or what am I talking about, you can always ask about them in the comments below. So my favorite for grammar preparation is Ego for You. It doesn't only have exercises, clicking exercises for grammar practice, but also for vocabulary, even for writing tasks. They have practice exercises. The other websites which I really like are the New Headway websites and the New English 5 websites. There are practice exercises, especially for their students' book. But if you don't study from that book, that doesn't matter. Find the book's websites, the students' books websites, and click the exercise. It's going to be good practice for you, believe me, even if you don't study from that book. So these were the 5 tips today. How many of them are you using? Number 1 was study whole expressions, not single words or even long sentences. Number 2, have a favorite English series, film, or lyrics that you watch or sing along regularly. Number 3, find out the meaning of words with the help of the context. Don't panic if you don't know a word. Just read the sentence before or after the word. Plan ahead your preparation. I can't emphasize this enough. And number 5, try yourself and try your knowledge in different websites. And oh, I forgot, you should also visit and you should be brave enough to visit language exchange sites. If you type in Google language exchange sites, this means that you can find somebody for free who will talk to you on Skype in English. He or she teaches you or practices English with you, and you might practice Hungarian or your own language with them. It's that simple. All right, so are you a successful language learner? Share your ideas with us in the comments below, right? Let's check some comments if you have written any, right? Hello Betty, Bernadette is here. Hi there Bernadette, it's good to see you here. I hope I will see more and more people joining the show next week. This is for now. Bye for now. If you want to have more useful tips and tricks, visit my website, blog.englishexpander.net. It's usually in Hungarian, but the videos are in English always. And you can meet me in person in Don't Panic English Language School near Budapest, where I have tons of lessons from elementary level to B2 level, upper intermediate level. You can always join my 3-part video series, which is free and it's in Hungarian, which will prepare you for the speaking test. And it's a 3-part video series, so it's quite useful for you. It's www.englishexpander.net. There you can apply for this course for free. And for now, I'm saying goodbye to you. I hope you could use some tips which will make you a successful language learner, and hope to see you next week. Take care. Bye Esther, bye Heini, bye Bernie. See you next week too. Goodbye everybody.